Have you ever wondered why your child forgets what they've just learned? So in today's video, we're going to look at why this is. And I woke up this morning and I was like, this is a great idea and this is the one I want to put onto this video. So I got this up on the board, and so let's have a look at what this is. So why your child forgets what they've just learned. And now this could be that they go to school during the day and they come home and they're doing a homework task and they forget how to do something they've learned during the day. Or it could be that you're helping them out at home with something, and then the next day they go to try and do that math skill again and they've forgotten. So this is a really common one, and like I say, that's why I wanted to put it into this video. So let's have a look at why this is. Let's break it down a little and what's going on here. So oftentimes your child didn't actually forget. What's happened in its place is that it was never actually learned, and I say learned and I'm going to underline it, in the first place. So this is really common. So if we just touch on this little bit first, what we actually want to avoid saying is when they get 4 or 5 correct, for example, in a question, we want to avoid saying you've got it now. And the reason is because we're actually not sure if they do. As much as it looks like they do, we want to change that into something different that I'll explain later on in the video. So we want to avoid saying you've got it now. As much as that sounds positive and it sounds great, we want to not say that until we know otherwise. And so, because this is really important here, so getting it right is not the same as understanding it. All right, and this is something that happens all the time. I see it in my tutoring, I see it in, in class and things like that, that children will get a question right or get 4 or 5 in a row correct, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they've actually got it until you dive deeper into finding out if they do or not. So let's say you're showing them a new method, or they've come home, they've learned something at school and they need to do some homework task on it, or you're using one of my resources and you are going through a new skill for that week and it's a new way of doing something. So let's say they get 5 correct in a row out of the 5, or out of 6, or whatever it might be. And you think to yourself, sweet, they've got it. And they also think the same thing. They think, sweet, I've got it as well. Now, the next day, when you come back and you do that same thing again, and they can't remember it, here lies the issue. And this is where we have to make sure that they are actually understanding what they're learning. Because if they don't, this all has an effect in terms of confidence, and this all ties in with this. So this is what they did. So in this part here, this is when they were doing those questions and getting 5 correct, this is what they did. They followed steps. So let's say they are learning to add, for example, I'll draw a quick one. So 23 plus 35, okay, and they get 58. All right, let's say they are learning to add 10s and 1s, just as an example. They're following the steps of what to do that they've learned in school or that you've shown them. They've copied a pattern of, again, what they've been shown in school. It's very pattern-based maths as well. And they've relied on their short-term memory when they've done that, because it's fresh in their mind. They've just been shown it and they've practiced those things and they've got them. However, there's no deep connection happening. And again, herein lies the issue, because so many times they are getting things correct, or they're practicing and they're getting their questions correct, and we think, yep, they've got it now, or their teacher thinks the same thing, they've got it now, and they move on. But if there's no deep connection with actually the understanding of it, that's when they forget it. And there's actually no switch into their long-term memory. Cool? So a little bit here, if it's not built deep it won't stick. So that's the premise of what this is about, right? So in this last bit, what you want to do, this is the stuff that I want you to do. I want you to do at home if you are helping out at home, or when you are, whether that's with homework, whether that's with the resource stuff that you're going to get off of me. Use these tips here to make sure that they are getting this deep connection and making sure they're understanding it. So instead of moving on when they get it, I want you to do these 3 things instead. So ask them to explain it back to you. So let's say you take this one as an example. So 23 plus 35 is 58. Now let's say they have learned, or they are learning to add the 10s, and they're learning to add the 1s together. For example, they've got 58. Rather than saying you've got it or well done, get them to explain what they have just done. So they will then be able to tell you, well, what I did is I had to add the 10s, and 2 plus 3 or 20 plus 30 was 50, and 3 plus 5 was 8, so I got 58. So right then, they are able to actually verbally explain what they had to do to get the answer. And that means they've got that deeper connection, that understanding of what they're actually having to do. And so important in the early years, because as things get more challenging, if they've got these core things with deeper understanding, then it makes things easier down the track. So vitally important. Hence why the channel, hence why I'm here to help you, hence why the resources that I'm looking to provide for you, which are so simple in this way. The next one, change the numbers slightly. So let's say they get that one correct, and you ask them, explain how did you get that? And they tell you, change the numbers slightly. Don't make it necessarily any harder or any easier, just change the numbers a little bit and get them to do the same thing, explain it again, and see if they can do the same thing. So those are the first 2. And the last one, I like this one, and this is really important. And as a tutor, I tutor once a week, but if I could tutor more frequently with the same children, it would make a world of difference, because so important that you come back to the same skill the next day. So if you've done this skill and you've shown them and they've been able to explain it back to you, you've changed the numbers a little bit, you come back the next day and you have another go, can they still remember from there how to do it, how to explain it? Do they have the understanding? And that one's key. And then once you've done that, my advice is not on here, but then in another couple of days, so then just space it out a little bit more, in another couple of days, revisit it one more time. That way you know that it's not just being relied on short-term memory. They've not just followed that pattern in that moment, it's actually created that deeper connection within them. So that's the tip for today. So a good one for the second video on the channel. So definitely rewatch this if you want a bit of a reminder, but hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment below, and then the link in my description will take you to my Patreon channel. Remember, hop into there, join the free community, join the community chat room, connect with like-minded people, connect with me, ask questions, whatever it might be. And then I am about to drop the first week of the weekly resources. And this is going to be life-changing for you. This is going to be so simple to make sure your child is covering all the fundamentals that they need. Yep, they cover them at school for sure, but as I mentioned in my first video, it is so vitally important that you are helping at home. And this is a way you can plug and play, step by step, follow along with them. Questions and things like that are set out in this way so that they are small windows of time that you're using, but they are getting that frequent little bit of support from you. So check it out, and until the next one, have an awesome rest of your day.